Howdy everybody. I pray this video finds you blessed. I'm a little under the weather today, so I apologize if I don't talk a lot. I'm going to try to explain as much as I can, being that this was a pretty large, lengthy project that took me a couple weeks to complete. For starters, I'm making a cheese board. A friend of mine contacted my husband and asked him to see if I could make a cheese board. So I had some leftover butcher block countertops that a friend of mine gave to me after installing some countertops in a house, and I thought, oh, that would be perfect. And so after watching Jim Sprague, if you guys don't watch his videos or you're subscribed to his channel, you need to go over there and check him out. He has awesome bowls that he makes, and he uses branches in the cracks of the bowls, and he uses all kinds of different natural stone and stuff to fill them with. And he's been such an inspiration to me, and I'm sure many others, and I'm really looking forward to trying a lot of the ideas that he has given me, and this is one of them. So I grabbed a bunch of branches from the yard. These are oak tree branches that are very spalted, and I thought that would be a great contrast to just the kind of plain, butcher block look that's going on with this platter. So felt it added some interest. So I took advantage of the fact that there's already holes and some, rough spots in the countertop piece to take and cut out and glue down these branches. I also ordered some cheese cutting utensils off of Amazon. I'll put the link in the description below. And I wanted to make new handles for them to match the board. So I bought this neat little hand router that I got from Harbor Freight, and it really helped get out a lot of the material after using my drill press with the Forstner bit. Now here I'm using the fast set with just the colors that I'm going to use for the final pour, just to hold down the branches so they don't float when I finally do my final pour. I didn't record my final pour for some reason. I have no idea. Like I said, this project took several weeks to complete, so who knows. But I used thickset, and I let it sit for a couple of days, letting that set. Right now I'm just making a waste block to glue onto the bottom of the cheese board so I can, or I should say the top of the cheese board, so I can make a proper mortise in the cheese board. Putting ridges in the bottom of this waste block so that a way the glue has something to hold on to. This piece was quite large. It ended up being 17 and like 3/4 inches. So the Titan chuck was perfect for this large piece. It helped make it feel really good and secure, and being it was really thin, it flexed. Now, you're going to see me use a lot of tools just to try to get this thing rounded out. This wood, even though it's kind of soft, it's hard to turn, and I was having more problems turning away the flooring scrap that I used as a mold for the resin. That stuff is hard as nails. It was just a vinyl flooring scrap that we had left over from doing my daughter's room, and it bent perfect, around the curve. And yeah, well, I didn't think about when it came to getting the stuff off. It was tough as nails. I'm using every sharp tool I have, and including a carbide, and it dulled my carbide. Being that there's, resin spots in this piece, and the weight of this piece is very off, I had a lot of vibration. I could barely turn this thing up past 400 RPMs the whole time. So it was challenging, to say the very least, to get the bottom of something this large flat. So it was a constant checking, and even areas that I felt that were flat weren't, because of the wobble was causing, say, only a quarter of it to have like a dip. It was very challenging. I used a nice straight board piece to find out where my high and low areas are. I prefer the outsides to be high and towards the inside of the platter to be low. I did plan on putting feet on this piece when it was all said and done, so I wasn't crazy concerned, but I still didn't want like this, weird looking taper. I had to use a 40 grit sandpaper grinder in order to get this sanded down flat in some of the areas. Like I said, there was areas where it would just, like a quarter of it would be like wavy. It had like waves in it from the lathe wobbling, and it being just so out of balance. It was really hard to get flat. So I should have worn gloves when I applied that finish because this stuff is very sticky. So yeah, my rest of my coats, which I did a total of 4, went on with gloves on. It was super hard to get off. I'm putting on a glove now to turn this because those resin pieces in between the wood chips or the wood chunks were just coming off in chunks, and it was killing my hand, so I had to put a glove on. I'm using Starbond's Thin CA as I go because it's tearing out that real punky branches in that wood. So the Thin CA is helping keep it cutting instead of just tearing out. If I had used like fresh cut branches and dried them myself, this probably wouldn't be happening, but I was kind of just using what I had. And so it was just, they were in the yard already, falling down. I didn't have to, didn't have to go hunting for them. So yeah, I'm just kind of using what I got around me. I'm getting the rim thickness established first before I start taking away any of the center. I kind of suspected that it was so large and kind of not too thin, but on the thinner side, that it would just start to flex more and more and more as I turned. So I just established the thinness of it for the overall, and then started working in towards the center to take out more material. And doing so, obviously some of that wood had chipped out, so I'm taping off spots that I want to repair. I'm pulling it off the lathe to do that because it's clearly a lot easier to do when it's laying flat. I'm using the Starbond's 4-minute epoxy. This stuff is great. It does set up really well. I put a first coat of the general finishes, the bowl finish, on off camera, and I'm using this abrasive pad in between my first and second coat, but I couldn't use it between my second and third coat because the finish for some reason just wasn't setting. I had to wait more than 24 hours before I could put another finish on. It was still tacky, and I'm assuming it could be because of our weather was so weird. One day it was cold, the next day it was hot, and then again it was cold at night, and anyways. So I'm not quite sure what happened there. Now, originally I wanted to do the knobs for the utensils with just one branch resined inside of a piece of the countertop. But when I went to turn it around and mount it in my pen jaws, the tip it was just crumbling. The wood was falling apart and it chipped real easily. So my fear was that all of them would do that and I would have issues. So I just went ahead and threw all those blanks in a mold with some more pieces of branches and casted a whole new set of them. So I had to remake a whole new set. Here I'm just kind of shaping them. I want to give them an organic kind of shape, like I guess polished stones or something. I didn't want them to be all the same because I wouldn't be able to make them all the same anyway. I figured might as well go with the quote-unquote rustic look and just kind of give them a nice, neat, organic-y kind of shape. I used the 4-minute epoxy to glue the handles onto the tools or to the knives, and I thought the video was recording and it wasn't, so it just recorded the part where I was peeling off the tape from coating the outside handle one more time with a fast set. I debated on putting feet on the bottom of this, but after setting it down on the counter, I felt that it would help extend the life of the piece, especially on the bottom if there were feet, instead of having it, slid across the table or, set down multiple times. So I kind of decided that feet were probably best just to kind of extend the life of the platter and the finish especially. Thank you all so very much for watching my videos. I pray you have a wonderful weekend. Take care and God bless.